of members present in the chamber. I call this Human Resources Committee meeting to order. Number 1 on our agenda is approval of the July 14th, 2025 minutes. They are in your packet. Any questions, concerns? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to accept. Motion from Killian, second from Martins. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes. Human Resources Report for July 2025. It's in your packet. Any questions for our director? Okay, perfect. We'll place that on file. Number 3, discussion and possible action approving the revision to the employee handbook, section 7.01, general provisions, and section 8.01, general provisions.
The WRS percentage. Okay, so the WRS percentage rate has been 7% contribution, and it was raised, the WRS rates were raised to 7.9%. So we are asking to remove the language that states that we are going to have to contribute the 7.9% to employees that were hired after the, Joel, let me find where that date is. July 1st, 2011. So there's language in the collective bargaining agreements that speak to the 7% that we will contribute, and now we have to do 7.9%. So we're just redoing some of the language and taking out the redlined items here for the general provisions that the following benefits apply to all employees except the Wisconsin retirement system. So we are going to have to look at redoing the collective bargaining agreements for that language, just for people who are not covered.
Any questions? Okay, I'll take a motion to accept that language change. Motion by Killian, second by Martins. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Number 4, discussion and possible action to approve reorganization of the fire department's leadership model. It's in your packet.
Yes. So when I started here in April, and the fire chief had taken me around and showed me the different fire departments, and we discussed operations and organization. And he had mentioned at that time that there was a need for the city to have a restructure in the organization that was similar to other communities that are similar in size and service to the city of Wausau. And he and I had been working over the last few months on what would that look like, what would make sense from an organizational standpoint. And the packet information does have proposed new for the deputy fire chief and the fire training division chief having some changes as far as operational oversight goes. So I'll have the fire chief speak more to that.
Sure. Excuse me. Thanks for having me, everybody. As the HR director was speaking to you about some of the things I thought needed to be revised and looked at again as our department grew and became more motivated in areas as far as what we're all handling, what different things we're doing in the community and the oversight that we have. And one of the things that became apparent to me was the span of control and being able to have people in positions that oversee certain divisions and things like that. So when we had a training division chief, it was very vital to what we were doing on a day-to-day basis when we were training. But some of the things that it was lacking are some of the things that I added in here for the deputy chief of operations would oversee and have a little bit more power to oversee personnel, to be able to do different things with personnel and to act in different roles. And that being up or down, which I find very unique and very it's not only unique, but it gives us a lot of opportunities to do different things with the position, and like take over other positions when nobody's around, such as the battalion chief, which a lot of bigger departments and departments our size around the state are doing. That saves on overtime and also gives our training chief slash deputy chief a chance to work with the crews more often than than we have right now with the workload that the chief and the deputy chief have right now. We don't have those opportunities. So I think it's just, well thought out and well written as far as what it can do for the City of Wausau Fire Department and how it can enhance our abilities to do more, get more training, get more involved and do more all the way around while being able to work in different positions, which I think has been something we've been missing for years. So.
Vicki, and then here.
Yeah, I just don't know what's working here today. Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is you're saying that this new restructuring will save on overtime, correct?
It can, yeah.
Okay.
It will, in regards to battalion chief. From, talking to other chiefs in different departments as far as when someone's on vacation or on leave, and those sort of things, we could move the deputy chief into those spots if we chose to not only save on overtime, but to get them more involved with the crews on a day-to-day basis.
That's good to know because of another issue that was on here and then dropped off about battalion chiefs being comped at 1.5 instead of 1%. So just wanted to see that savings there. Thank you.
Okay, you bet. Thank you. Great question.
Jeremy, I believe that you have really looked at this carefully, and those changes may be very positive for our fire department and for the city. My concern, however, at this point in time, and I don't want to use, the only word I can think of is unpleasantries that are happening at the fire department. I don't know that this reorganization is time sensitive. I don't know how time sensitive it is. I'm sure the sooner it's implemented, the better it is. But I have some really important questions about current protocol and procedures that I would like to see answered prior to supporting more reorganization. So it would be my suggestion or my wish that we could just table this a little bit until we have an opportunity to get some questions and concerns responded to. And I don't think it would be appropriate or germane to this agenda to ask those questions tonight. So that's my feeling, and I don't know how my colleagues feel about that.
Sure, I can respect that, and maybe touching on some things that you said early on, there was, and now I'm going to forget what you said. It rung a bell, and then I kept listening. But being able to move forward as an organization, I think this kind of addresses some of those issues without speaking to any of them. But at the same time, we've been running shorthanded for quite some time for many different reasons, and with the training division chief not having that position filled since January has been a true stressor. But I do understand what you're saying, and
Yeah.
I think if it's something that needs to come back up, I'm always here to answer questions, but I agree with you, right now is probably not the time.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy.
Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, when I was looking at these two organizational charts, and when you came, Chief, when you came up and kind of gave us your narrative, you hit the nail on the head with span of control, and I see the definite change between the two here, because the proposed organizational chart definitely it addresses some obvious open issues that you could see with the current plan when it comes to in regards to span of control, and that's one of the things I like. I think I understand we've got issues in the department, and I think without stating the issue, I think some of the shortcomings of the current organizational chart is probably part of the reason why we're in this position we're in. But I looking at what we're proposing, I think this is a step forward without having to really delve deep into the issue, and I think we could. I got a feeling we can move ahead with this without having to, do and still. we can move ahead with this and still have a proper investigation of what went wrong and how we can address those issues. And that would just be, which I have a feeling, would be tweaking, what we're looking at with this organizational change.
Thank you. And to speak a little bit more about what Alter Martins was talking about with span of control and something I think I left out, that's a NFPA-driven thing. It's a military-driven thing. We're a paramilitary organization. And what we look to do is, have a span of control 3 to 5 in the fire service. And that meaning you have 3 to 5 people underneath you that supervise, 3 to 5 underneath them and work their way down. And then that's where we refer to the chain of command and moving back up when it comes to problems and bringing them through a proper process. So I just wanted to kind of hit on that a little
I
bit.
took a couple ICS classes, so it hit me right away when I saw that.
Okay. Very good. I appreciate that.
Can I just, I'm not supporting this tonight, and there's various reasons. I think, and I did explain myself to the HR director, maybe later I will. I think that we've had a number of reclasses at the fire department coming in. We are now in October. We're in September. October, we start our budget season. I don't feel comfortable in moving staff around, increasing budgets right now. I think that's, there's the issue of maybe an after-action report of how to do things. I think that we're waiting for, and that will be coming in due time. But I'm more into, I feel like, personally, this is my personal feeling, it's like whack-a-mole. I think we need to take a step back, be intentional, and I would really like to look at budgets and how this fits in, and maybe we change more organizational things at one time. I think these one-offs that we've been doing in your department and other departments are not conducive to figuring out how we're going forward. So that's the reason I'm not going to support this evening. It doesn't mean that I won't support it during the budget season at all. I think once I get more information, I could certainly look at more oversight, but I know this budget season is going to be brutal, and I think I'd like to see a big picture type of thing of how we move forward. So that's my thought process. Now, does it mean we can take a vote here tonight and council could okay it? It's, that's up to you. I'm just speaking directly about myself.
Right, and if I could just speak a little bit to that, and I totally understand where you're coming from. The department heads have been going through this budget process, for a few weeks now already, and it's been very stressful, as you mentioned. And I don't take that lightly when it comes to this, which is why, I thought this was one of those items that kind of could try to offset itself a little bit in the fact that, talking about overtime moving forward, working in different positions, being more intimate with the crews as far as working in different positions, but also in the fact that we haven't, and this is something the director and I have talked about over the year, we haven't filled this position since January. So there is, the 11 months of savings if this were something that we were to fulfill in maybe January moving forward. But I totally understand what you're saying, and to get your mind around more numbers and see those sort of things that makes sense. So.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jeremy, I just have one question. Were you talking about working shorthanded? Are you talking about leadership, or are you talking about the union?
Yeah, I guess more so in the leadership when it comes to battalion chiefs, division chiefs, and those different things where, right now the workload is so heavy in the 40-hour week positions. We're not out and about very much. There's just not enough time in the day to get involved in a lot of training and get involved in a lot of calls per se, depending on how big the call is, where, I think we're kind of missing the boat in that realm where we should have these positions being able to cross-staff and do different things in order to not only stay in tune, but to keep your skills up and do different things when it comes to a big emergency, right? So that's kind of the plus here, where this person would be, per se, like I said, when a battalion chief's gone, they could fill that role, whether it's during an 8-hour day or whether it's a 24-hour or 48-hour shift, and take care of that, not only saving the city and our budget some money as far as the fire department goes, but also keeping your skills up and sharing your skills with the crews and being able to get that extra training in.
So I have one question then that's not really related, but how has your program been working out where you're bringing in potential firefighters, paramedics with that $10,000 bump at the beginning?
The apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program has been, I think, phenomenal. I mean, the proof's going to be in the pudding, right? When they take their test in December, we meet with their instructors on a regular basis, Deputy Chief Plus and myself. We've been doing a lot of different things, meeting with them, meeting with the crews, seeing where they're at with their test scores, all those different things that a lot of other people, other students don't have to share with anyone else, where our students do have to share that with us. And I'm happy to report they're all doing very well. They're ahead of schedule. They've been training, their workload is heavy, their school load's heavy, but they're really stepping up to the challenge, and they know they have a great opportunity here. So I'm really optimistic about how this ends and how it looks at the end of the year because of how hard it's been to recruit and retain, people that we want. I would love to see the program move forward, but like we were just talking about, budget issues and all the different challenges I've been looking at in my budget, I don't know that it's something we can do if we're fully staffed. Granted, we did this because we were so light staffed, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going into 2026 with a full arraignment of line crew members. So as much as I'd like to see it go, I keep going. It's something that only, like we just talked about, the budget numbers will tell what we can and can't do and what I'll come back and ask for, as well as how successful it is. But right now, I'm happy to report that it's been fantastic. I think the feedback you'll get from many of our members is great. And it's just really, really neat to see something like this develop.
Have you had a lot of people that have come in and just said, I can't take it, and decided to leave?
Nope, these are still the first 6 that we picked at the beginning out of I can't remember the number, but I think we had 20-some people that applied. And we went through the whole process of picking for character, and we were able to pick 6, and the same 6 are still fighting forward. Some of them have been challenged in their personal life with some pretty big hurdles, and we've just like the fire department always does, we've locked arms, we've come together, and we help each other through the hard times. It's something that the fire service does anytime they get the opportunity, and I think it really showed here to take these members and help them get through the tough times when they got so much going on in their professional life at the same time. So I couldn't be more proud of what they're doing and what our crews are doing to help them get through. So even though a lot of them haven't had this opportunity and could be a little jealous, right?
Okay, thank you. It sounds very impressive. Appreciate that.
Appreciate the
update.
question.
Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I'll take a motion for this item.
I guess before we make a motion, if the support on this is kind of lukewarm and we're concerned about the budgets, what would be the impact if we tabled this to, say, October or November? Then we'd have a firm hand on what the money situation is going to look like?
I guess my question to the HR director, could we put it in the budget, the prospective budget?
That is a question I was actually going to ask procedurally if I can reword it for a 2026 implementation. And if HR committee wants to, if they can, approve philosophically the organizational component of it, and then if it has to go to finance or go through for 2026, that's a question I don't know. But to answer your question, yes, I'll support 2026.
So I guess,
Chief will.
it's kind of cart before the horse. I can never see Michael. Sorry, I see the top of your head, and I hate talking towards you. Anyway, I guess I'm going to leave that up to Jeremy. If you would like us to bring this back in October, because we meet here the second week. Michael, you know about when the budget talk is.
About the second week of October, we'd be doing the
The workshops. So if we brought it back in October, I think maybe things, we would have a better idea of how budget's going. And then I think that it would give, I don't know, I'm only speaking for me. What would other members think about that, bringing it back in October? Once we have, and then, because department heads will have a more settled budget by then, too. Go ahead.
Also will give us the opportunity, if we have other questions or concerns, to address those by then. So I would be very supportive of tabling it and bringing it back.
I agree with Alder Killian.
And I guess I don't see that as being a real negative to you, because we're not going to fill this in a month. So would you mind bringing it back in October once we have more solid numbers?
I mean, I'd much rather, it's important enough to me, I'd much rather bring it back than see it die tonight.
That's what I'm
especially
saying.
with all the unanswered questions that you've all brought up, so
Yeah.
I'd totally support it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's, because I think this is important but I think we just might not be totally ready
No.
for it. So, I'll make a motion to table this item for the October meeting.
Okay. Do we have a second? Second by Tierney. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We will see you in October.
Thank you all for your time.
So we have a closed session. Who wants to read our long closed session?
I read it.
Thank you.
Get to the page. I'll make a motion that we go into closed session pursuant to 19.85, Section 1, Paragraph F, considering financial, medical, social, or personal histories or disciplinary data of specific persons, preliminary consideration of specific personnel, problem, or the investigation of charges against specific persons, except where Paragraph B applies, which, if discussed in public, would be likely to have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such histories or data, or involved in such histories or data, or involved in such problems or investigations regarding consideration of disciplinary grievance appeal.
Can I have a second to that motion? Second by Tierney. Okay, roll call vote. Martins?
Aye.
Killian? Aye. Tierney?
Aye.
And I'm aye as well, and we will see you back in open session.